My name is Yin, and I'm the Group Chief Technology Officer here at SRKK, and I will be your host this morning. I hope you're settling down your seats, grab a cup of coffee, and we'll be getting underway in a short moment. Today, cloud migration and modernization is very likely a part of the journey of digital transformation for any company and has several triggers in common, such as application innovation, cost optimization, faster to market, enabling remote work, and many others. This journey involves significant company-wide changes in spanning people, processes, and technology. By taking a holistic approach, will not only help you navigate the journey successfully, but also ensure that your company realizes new benefits such as efficiency, agility, and scale. Right? And we have a good lineup of subject matter experts. Mr. Justin Mock, Senior Pre-Sales Consultant from TechD, Mr. Thomas Kelly, Azure Infrastructure Consultant from SRKK, and Mr. Brian Hill, Solutions Architect also from TechD. Do stay until the end of the session, as we're going to have some fun and games for everyone to participate and some prizes to win. Also, don't miss out on the exciting announcements that we have to share as well. During the presentations, if you have any questions, you can scan the QR code here on the screen and input your questions to be forwarded to the speakers. We will address them towards the end of the event. Or you can also use the chat window and also type your questions there directly if you wish. Just before we start, I'd just like to take this opportunity to introduce who we are. SRKK. SRKK is an end-to-end digital transformation consultancy firm with strong business presence in both Malaysia and Singapore. We work closely with our strategic partners such as Microsoft and TechD to help companies unlock their full business potential, leveraging the latest in AI, cloud, and other advanced technology solutions. We specialize in 7 key areas: hardware, device as a service consultancy, modern workplace solutions, data analytics, business intelligence, AI and cloud modernization, which is today's topic, managed services, IT security, business continuity, and technology distribution. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to our first speaker, Justin Moore, Senior Pre-Sales Consultant from TechD, to share about accelerating cloud adoption using Microsoft Azure. Over to you, Justin.
All right, thank you so much, Pam. And thanks for the invitation as well, okay, for me to actually host this event. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, so should be able to see. All right. Okay, so as you can see on the title here, my name is Justin Mock, Senior Pre-Sales Consultant in TechD actually. So I major in Microsoft Azure and then on modern work as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask, not just for me, even for SRKK as well, because they are capable, they have the capability as well on answering those questions as well. Right, so without further ado, okay, so this is the topic that I'm going to actually talk about, which is accelerate cloud adoption with Microsoft Azure, right? So before that, let me start off with statistics, or so-called a report that actually done by one of the VP from Gartner. So for those that know who Gartner or Magic Quadrant, okay, is like a reporting for those like categories, not just for the cloud, or even for securities, for other reporting stuff. Okay, so in this report, they did mention this year's teams were built around the 3 main themes. So basically optimize for resilient operation or trust, scale, vertical solution, and product delivery, and pioneer with a new form of engagement to accelerate response or opportunity. So you can see that right here, you have industry cloud platforms, okay? And you also have AI. So these are actually on the cloud platform. So basically, enterprises want to move their cloud discussion away from technology to focus on more business value. So to actually scale vertically, this will involve moving to industry cloud platform, which combines software as a service or SaaS, platform as a service, PaaS, or even infrastructure as a service, IaaS, features to allow the organization to actually build unique application target for a specific industry. So basically, it is predicted by 2027, more than 50% of enterprises will use industry cloud platform. Okay, so not only on that, AI also is the trend already with the introduction of, as you guys know, Azure OpenAI. All right, so that definitely will help to accelerate the cloud adoption with Microsoft Azure, especially. Right. Okay, so another statistics. So this is about cloud shift research that is actually done that includes those enterprise IT categories that actually can transition to cloud. Okay, within the application software, infrastructure software, business process services, and even system infrastructure market. So as you can see, by 2025, 51% of the IT spending in these four categories will actually have shift from traditional solution to the public cloud compared to the 41% in 2022. Okay, so almost 2/3 or 65.9% of spending on application software will be directed towards cloud technology in 2025. All right. So basically, enterprise adoption of distributed cloud has the potential to further accelerate cloud shift because it brings public cloud services into domain that primarily been non-cloud. So expanding the addressable market, organizations are evaluating it because of its ability to meet the location-specific requirements such as data sovereignty, low latency, and even network bandwidth. So this comes to cloud migration trigger. So there are actually a lot of factors that actually customers can look into cloud migration. So it could be cash flow challenges, not just for customers or even entire ecosystem, supplier, distributor, customers, cybersecurity threats. So this is customers are feel vulnerable to the attacks, their defenses are down. All right. Scarce IT budget resources. Okay, so customers are reporting the needs for the free IT money or labor to invest into other parts of the business that may make it more, I would say, more productive. Right, ability to meet some of the demand. Right. Okay, the demand, like for example, server industry could be healthcare, retails are seeing a surge in demands. Okay, they're finding that their existing system or solution cannot keep up, so they might need to actually move to cloud. Right, business continuity. Right, so customer might have real concern that their day-to-day operation could be interrupted. For example, data loss, network connectivity. Okay. And for those that are having data center, that of course they have the contracts, okay, it might be expire as an inflection point to actually consider cloud migration, okay. So this is where we're going to introduce Microsoft Azure, right, as a cloud platform, all right. So it is an IT initiative methodology that prioritizes the adoption of cloud computing services as the default option to deliver IT services. So to provide more efficient, cost-effective, and even scalable services. So it is the cloud approach prioritize the adoption of cloud-based services above traditional on-premises solution. So you can see these are the benefits of using cloud platforms. In this case, Microsoft Azure. So it could have like reliability, security, scalability, global access, lower cost, and even faster time to market. Okay. So let's move on to the cloud first model for IT infrastructure, which is Microsoft Azure, right? This is where you can actually maximize the value using your Microsoft infrastructure once you onboard your journey to the cloud or adopt with the cloud adoption. So few ways actually, so you can maximize, okay? You can actually enable your connectivity and remote work, all right? You can migrate to achieve your efficiency and optimize your costs. You can have innovation delivered everywhere with seamless hybrid, whether you're still using on-premise, whether you're using other cloud providers, AWS, GCP, all right? And finally, you can actually secure your workload from the increased cyber attacks, okay? So these are the things that I will cover, all right? If you want to actually maximize the value using Microsoft Azure infrastructure, okay? We start off connectivity and remote work. So this is where you can actually access everywhere your apps, software for anywhere using Azure Virtual Desktop, all right? So it provides your customer with the same Windows 10 or with Windows 11, okay? And then also advantage of to have a multiple session, okay, in your machine, reduce your cost, okay? And then at the same time, you can actually deploy it and scale it in minutes, okay? So for those that actually are aware of, I believe Microsoft did announce recently about the Windows Copilot, okay? So definitely it will actually give a better beneficial to those that want to actually migrate or even have a cloud journey to Microsoft Azure, all right? Then we have the traditional way, which is the best-in-class infrastructure for every workload, which is the Azure virtual machines, okay? So basically what you can see, Azure offers a very type of virtual machine to meet your customers' compute needs, okay? A broad range of VM series optimized just not for the compute, optimized this, even GPU as well, regardless of where you are in your cloud journey. So Azure VM or virtual machine can handle entry-level workloads up to quantum computing. All right, so definitely it will be growing up. The series will be getting more. Right. Part of that, you have the wide range of this storage solution. Okay, for your whatever customer's workload, whether it is standard SSD, HDD, standard SSD, premium SSD, or even ultra disk. Okay, so you can work with any OS that you want, Windows Server, SQL Server, even open source OS, Linux, CentOS, right? And also, if you have a part vendors, like for example, VMware, SAP, NetApp, you can actually work together with Microsoft, all right, to bring your infrastructure up to the next level, okay? Together with those powerful processor, Intel, AMD, and even NVIDIA, right? Speaking about performance, right? You can see all these numbers here. So basically, Microsoft, they actually Azure focus on all the application performance. And one of the great things about running on Azure is they constantly optimize the performance. So that customer can get the benefit from those improvements. Okay. So as you know, customer might have a wide range of workload. And then this Microsoft Azure can actually offer high performance storage, networking, computing element to meet the performance requirement. It is a strong foundation that enables you as a customer to build the modern application that can actually scale with built-in security and management. Okay. So those mission critical workload, like for example, it could be like SAP or SAP HANA, all this, that requiring like high availability. So basically Azure can actually share the fastest whatever latency or high availability, even providing the high performance throughput as well. Okay, so you can see that 160K IOPs, so it's pretty fast, correct? With less than 1 milliseconds, sub-millisecond latency. So basically, Azure infrastructure provide the best-in-class networking capabilities so that customer can have their application or workload as close as to the global network. without any minimize the latency, right? Cost, you have business continuity. So for those customers running on data center on-prems, so definitely business continuity is one of the concern to actually avoid any disruption. So Microsoft Azure is actually engineered to actually have a resilient foundation by adopting backup recovery in Azure, right? So that you can have a customer have a significant significant in your business to avoid any interruption. Okay, so you could have Azure backup and disaster recovery solution that is really easy to deploy, cost effective, secure, and provide end-to-end business continuity solution. Okay, so it also supports your whatever customers existing data protection solution where your data still resides in on-premise. So in case of any disruption, accidental deletion, corruption of the data, you still can recover your business services in a timely and orchestrated manner. All right. Of course, with a high ability as well, with the SLA of 99.999%, right? Okay. Now we move on to innovation. All right, this is where you can actually take the next level, comprehensive approach, and offer units to your hybrid or even multi-cloud capabilities using whatever Azure infrastructure you have. All right. So start off with Azure Arc. All right. So it is new features introduced last year. Enables to standardize your visibility, operation, and compliance across a wide range of resources, locations, by extending the Azure control plane. Okay, so once you enable it, sorry, is the sound? No, let me continue. So if you use Azure Arc, you can bring your whatever services by any existing infrastructure, including whatever cloud you're using, GCP, AWS. Take advantage of the cloud benefits everywhere, such as scalability, fast deployment, and always up-to-date cloud innovation. So you can consistently build your Azure new cloud infrastructure in your own data center, even not just with Azure Arc, even with your Azure Stack. Further than that, you can even extend your AI as well to the edge devices using edge IoT as well, so that you can run machine learning or even those advanced analytics close to the user and your data, so that you can gain more insights and deliver immersive experience at the edge of the network, right? So this is about the innovation. Okay. Once we talk about innovation, then we talk about the security. Okay, security. This is the foundation. So you want to make sure your cloud infrastructure is secure, configured in a secure manner at any and every point of time. This is where you have a Microsoft dependable cloud that actually continuously assess your security state of your cloud resources across not just virtual machine, your network, your application, or even data services. So it monitors whatever workload you're running in other clouds and on-premise data center as well. So basically, it is multi-cloud capabilities to help to visualize whatever security states and then give even insights on your whatever configure security control, right? Of course, provides the best practice recommendation as well. In this case, you have the Azure Secure Score, which is the core of the Microsoft Dependable Cloud Security Posture Management capability, right? So that you know like which prioritized steps you need to take over to actually improve the security posture. So we know that all the values that you can actually put on using Microsoft Azure infrastructure. Now we move on to the actual data center. All right, how can actually enable to have a better operation? Okay. As you can see that Microsoft data center is growing, all right, from time to time, even more, all right. So basically you can see here, Malaysia West is here already. So at this moment, we still do not have a confirmation date when it will be ready, but of course, definitely having a Malaysia data center all right, it definitely will be beneficial for all the customers, especially for the data compliance, data sovereignty, right? Because of the regulation here, right? So basically, you can see that there, how the Microsoft data center work across the world is based on the region. So basically, region is the data set of data center deployed within a latency defined parameter and connected through a dedicated regional low latency network. So basically, currently the closest one is Southeast Asia. Of course, once Malaysia West is ready, then you'll be actually connected across all the region. Okay, and then you could have more services as well, right? Then you need to find the right data center, right? Okay, so you have your geography or geo. So it's a discrete market of 2 or more regions that preserve the data residency and compliance boundary. So it can be a set of countries. So in Malaysia, currently you have only one, once Malaysia West is ready. Otherwise, you still have a Southeast Asia, which is Singapore, right? Okay, so basically, Azure can actually offer a data center in about more than 140 countries there. So to provide resilience and even business connectivity as well. And then, of course, you have a validity zone as well, right? So that actually it is a physical separated location within an Azure region to protect your application or even data from data center failure. So even if, let's say, your data center is failure, you still have another backup to actually to have a continuous business continuity as well. So each of the ability zone, it could be make up 1 or 2 data center equipped with independent power, cooling, and even networking, right? And then to ensure the resiliency, the minimum of 3 separate zones in all the enabled regions, right? So you don't have to worry about business if something happens in the data center in Microsoft data center. And then of course managing your data across entire the journey, all right? So having a fast network access is not enough, all right? So your application needs to have intelligent services to expand and simplify how a global audience access the experience, right? And the offerings. So basically, you build your own network in the cloud to reach your customers, on-premise users, and even resources, right? So this is where once the Malaysia West data center is ready, you can build whatever networking infrastructure you want. Like for example, just now I mentioned Azure Virtual Desktop, all right? Or you could have, if you're talking about security, you can have Azure Application Gateway, front window, load balancer, all right? Even content delivery network, okay? So everything will be ready across the region so that you don't have to worry which services you want to deploy, right? So speaking about the services availability across the region, so with the cloud services available in 60 regions, you can choose the right region, keep your business critical nearby. All right. So for example, if let's say currently Malaysia West is not ready, you still can deploy in Southeast Asia. So once Malaysia West is ready, you can actually slowly migrate from Southeast Asia region to Malaysia West region. Okay, to provide whatever latency and then to configure whatever infrastructure that you want within the region. Okay, so it is global services availability, all right? And finally, you can actually protect the user using availability zones, okay, to have the physical separation within the Azure location, okay? And then, like I said just now, each zone can make up of multiple data center. So you don't have to worry if there's any data center failure as well, right? Okay. And then, like I say, few things you need to consider using a region, all right? Choosing a region, in this case, like I say, the Malaysia West data center, all right? So some customer, they want their data to actually reside within the country. So having a Malaysia West data center will definitely help customers to actually host it, access the data anywhere within Malaysia or even around the globe, okay? Of course, the services you can actually deploy as well, which are available in Malaysia West once it's ready, compliance requirement, right? And then pricing, all right? Depends on which region you are using. The cost of the services might be different. Okay, so of course there are a few things you need to consider in terms of technical regulation, but having the upcoming data center definitely is a new thing, I mean, to consider to have a better solution as well. Okay. And just a key note and then or application. So learn about the Azure global infrastructure. Okay, keep up to date to what is going on. All right, and then enable your data residency and data protection. All right, this will help you to have accelerate your cloud adoption in Microsoft Azure. All right, knowing which services that is available in Azure, all right, so that you can actually build your application, build your workload easily. And of course, like I mentioned, the power of Azure infrastructure, which actually it is the best in class infrastructure for every cloud. All right. And before I hand off, just want to highlight on what we can actually work together with SRKK as well, right, to offer. If you have customer, you want to actually onboard the cloud journey, first thing is we can actually request for the Azure credit. So for those that actually just onboard on cloud journey, they want to start using the services that you want, all right, even though they're still running on premises, to see whether they can, whether there's any they can improve their performance when they move to cloud, everything. You can request a POC credit from us. We as a distributor will liaise with SRKK to help you guys. Of course, if you have existing on-premise environment and would like to actually migrate to cloud, we also offer a migration tool as well and assessment tools as well, all right, to see how much cost saving you will have once you move to cloud, all right? It's done by the assessment. So this might require some kind of further discussion and discovery call. So we also offer that. And then after the migration, if you feel that customer is not familiar, and then they would like us or even SRKK to actually manage it, okay, we also offer Azure managed services as well for those that want to us to actually manage for them first few months, and then after that, once they actually we enable it to the customers how to actually manage their Azure services, then from there they can actually manage themselves and even can deploy further services in Azure. All right. Okay, so that's all for my session. I hope you guys can actually absorb whatever information that we have. All right, and then let's start on board our cloud journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Justin. I think that's a lot of information that you shared. All about what Azure, Microsoft Azure is about, its capabilities, the services that our customers can leverage on, and also some of the offers that is on the table for customers as well. And moving on to our next speaker, we have SRKK's very own Thomas Kelly, right, to tell us more about the how. Right, earlier Justin was talking about the what. Thomas will share about the how to bridge the gap from the on-prem to the cloud. Over to you, Thomas.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Pang. Thanks, Justin. Just loading up my slides now. Okay, everyone see it?
Yep.
It's all up. Okay, great.
Yep.
I guess I'll begin. Yeah, thanks, Justin, for outlining basically what the Azure environment can offer, all the different services and SLAs. Just to introduce myself quickly, my name is Thomas. I'm a certified Azure administrator. I've got 10 years experience in the area of information services, including infrastructure and endpoint management, information security. And during the pandemic, I spent my time developing my cloud computing skills. And this is something I keep doing today. It's one of those journeys that never ends. And joined SRKK this year as Azure consultant to help develop and implement solutions for our customers. So I'm here today to talk a bit about the skills gap for organizations that may be looking at cloud adoption. I want to see why it exists, why it's a problem that needs addressing, and maybe how we can overcome it with a case study. So looking at the skills gap, talking about really the difference in experience that you currently have managing your on-prem environment and that required to get us into the cloud. So let's consider your current situation. I'm pretty sure your teams are highly capable when it comes to managing your own environment, and there's arguably no one better suited given your familiarity and the time you've spent there. You may not be currently planning for any cloud projects at all, and you already have enough to concern yourself with, but this just allows the cloud skills gap to persist. The lack of cloud skills is a common concern for managers considering cloud adoption. Will your technical teams be able to deploy and support workloads in the cloud? How can they be sure that they can hire the right people at the right time to coincide with the right stage of a cloud journey? And I know in Malaysia, IT is something that suffers from underinvestment. I speak to a lot of people who recommend hardware refresh, only for their management to say that their current deployment's been working fine for 10 years. Why do we need to invest in something that isn't broken? We're guilty of treating IT services like this constant unchanging line that just goes off to the horizon, when actually things are changing around us quite rapidly. So we need to develop cloud skills to start our cloud journey. But without cloud resources to manage, we can't develop our cloud skills. It's kind of like a chicken and egg scenario. But it's a mistake to ignore the pull of the cloud, as the next few years will prove pivotal as our needs change to keep pace with emerging trends. If you've performed a server refresh recently, you may have noticed how much the costs have risen. This isn't just in line with inflation either. There's just higher demand for hardware globally among organizations running services like cryptocurrencies and more recently, large language models. Supply chain issues are also becoming more common, causing delays to order fulfillment and further pushing the prices up. But that's not the only reason to consider cloud. By the end of this decade, over 70% of the workforce will be made up of so-called digital natives. This kind of loosely refers to anyone born from the 1990s onwards, anyone who's grown up in a connected world surrounded by communications technology. This group are more likely to expect some kind of flexibility in hybrid work in their careers. So in order to attract and retain the best talent, we need to be able to position cloud-hosted solutions as an option for them. Similarly, IT graduates are now more familiar with cloud concepts and how to get the best from these services. If we don't take steps to consider cloud adoption, it's almost like we're expecting them to reskill themselves in order to manage our legacy applications and legacy hardware. Unless we take steps to address the situation today, how can we fully leverage on their potential tomorrow? And it's not even just emerging people. Emerging technology is more commonly aimed at companies who are already in the cloud. And we can think about AI, blockchain, and low-code and no-code programming solutions, to name just a few examples. This is another trend that we can expect to increase as more solution providers look towards a cloud-ready future. So we've got traditional refresh costs rising. We need to position modern work for the talented emerging workforce, and we want to utilize the amazing technologies aimed at cloud-ready organizations. We can't stop thinking like cloud isn't going to come to us if we can just ignore it altogether. We need to start to develop our understanding now before a cloud project becomes a requirement. Well, everyone is welcome to come and experience the power of the Microsoft Azure cloud. All you need to do to log in is use a personal Microsoft email account, and you can enjoy $200 credit to spend on any service for the first 30 days with zero obligation. After that, there are dozens of services you can keep using free of charge for an entire year, and there are even some services in Azure that are always free. Each resource has learning materials linked in its deployment blade, and this is a great way to start building your cloud competency, to experience managing a cloud environment. Being familiar with the platform before cloud adoption becomes a requirement will certainly ensure that your planning discussions are more productive. That said, there's a considerable difference between planning for a project and migrating a critical workload. As more companies have moved their data and workloads into the cloud, so too does cybercriminals put more effort into attacking this environment. I'm sure you've seen headlines like this. Millions of customer records leaked from company A or company B's application taken down across an entire region. There isn't a CSP in the industry who hasn't seen their customers fall victim to large-scale compromise or disruption. But is the cloud really that unsafe? Remarkably, these security incidents can be traced back to human error in over 95% of cases. Maybe there was a misallocation of permissions on an account that then got compromised, or perhaps there was a storage container that wasn't secured effectively. Maybe a service endpoint was allowing traffic over unknown IP addresses or using the wrong protocol. Cyber criminals will seek to exploit even the smallest opportunity to achieve their goals. As it turns out, the resources to protect our cloud environment do exist, but it's the responsibility of the solution architect to deploy them correctly. Microsoft prides itself on providing the most comprehensive security of any CSP with the Azure cloud. Their environment makes enterprise-grade resources available to all their customers. So let's explore some of the ways we can keep our data safe. We can deploy multiple identity and access management services within Azure. For example, by combining role-based access controls with Azure policy, we can create granular controls to ensure our users have the lowest privilege level required to complete their task. There are dozens of RBAC templates available to get you started, and we can even edit them further to meet our specific requirements. It's also important to ensure that our cloud deployment is transparent. We need to be aware of any sudden changes in your resource state or consumption. This can mean setting alerts for action groups using Azure Monitor, or deploying security services such as Sentinel to monitor the environment for unexpected activity or traffic. Azure Arc can extend this capability into a multi-cloud deployment, helping you manage your cloud resources with other CSPs. And of course, a comprehensive backup strategy is as much a requirement for your cloud resources as it is on-prem. Azure Backup can help you protect your data with flexible retention options, while Azure Site Recovery can restore entire workloads following accidental changes or deletion. A robust cloud deployment extends a lot further than just migrating your on-prem workload to the cloud, but to follow best practices places further pressure on your teams. This is where the cloud skills gap truly resides, not just in being able to deploy a cloud project, but in being able to deploy it securely. Engaging a technology partner can help. SRKK can help provide guidance during the planning phase of your cloud journey, deploy your landing zone and the services required to protect it, and provide ongoing support while your teams adapt to this new way of working. Let's just check out a quick case study to see how one of our customers achieved it. Like most organizations without any existing cloud workloads, they were unsure where to begin. With SRKK's guidance, we identified a small, non-critical workload to make a start on their cloud adoption journey. This was a data backup, which was followed by the opportunity to migrate a file server. An application server followed that, and SRKK continued to provide guidance and professional services to support them while their team's cloud competency grew. Then came the chance to deploy a new workload, and the customer opted to make it cloud native. They were able to expand their team at the right time and support this new workload without further guidance for SRKK. We had successfully bridged the cloud skills gap, and now they could continue on their cloud journey independently. From this, we can say the best way to bridge the skills gap is to start small. Each successful workload migrated to the cloud will bring your team's experience and confidence levels up. Exploring additional services inside the environment may give you inspiration to try something new that wouldn't be possible on-prem. Azure's charging model provides a flexible way to test new ideas without requiring any long-term commitment or investment in licenses. So let's just quickly summarize that. Even if you aren't planning any form of cloud adoption, we can't allow the skills gap to persist. We need to start taking steps to increase our familiarity now, and that will open the door to opportunities for yourself and your organization. I hope you'll sign up to Azure and start exploring the available options. There's so many ways to get started, and I hope you'll take full advantage of that $200 credit. Encourage your teams to do the same, because cloud adoption is a journey that you're going to undertake together. Having a group of you experiencing the new environment for the first time together can help you bounce around ideas, and each of you develop your understanding further. Then you can request guidance when the time is right. Migrating to the cloud is not a trivial undertaking, and correctly securing your environment should be the priority of any team looking at the cloud project. Engaging SRKK can get you started on your cloud journey and support your teams until they're comfortable enough to manage the deployment themselves. Our aim is to provide assurances where you may have concerns, to help you bridge the skills gap, and to empower your workforce to enjoy the very latest in business productivity solutions. Let's identify your modernization goals and drive your digital transformation journey together. Thanks for listening. I hand back to Mr. Pang now to introduce the next segment.
Thank you very much, Thomas. That was wonderful information that you shared. I think in summary, as you mentioned, just a quick recap. Start small, right? There's no need to embark on a big, heavy project. Make sure getting familiar with what the cloud offers, iron out any of the other doubts that you have with the move to the cloud. And last but not least, of course, engage a competent partner like SRKK TechD to assist in the migration when help is needed. And our saving the best for last. Next, we have Mr. Brian Hill, also from TechD, to show everyone how using Microsoft Azure and best practices can help to secure the cloud resources. Over to you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Pan. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the time today. So let me tell a little bit about myself. So my name is Brian Hewen, and I come from TechD. So I have 50 minutes to share with you how we can control and protect our Azure subscription, so we can accelerate our cloud journey more safety. Okay. Okay, let me share my screen now. Okay, so as you know, TechD is the CSP indirect provider or the distributor of the Microsoft. So we have built a department that's called the Solution Factory, where we have a lot of solution, our value-added service, our tool in order to support our partner and the customer in the cloud journey, right? And today's SMB fraud defense click-to-run solution is one of our solution. Okay. Okay, let me start with why we need the fraud defense solution. And in the presentation of Justin and Mr. Thomas, you already know about the capability of the cloud computing, right? The first one is the flexibility, and the second one is the scalability. And I think you have here about the pay-as-you-go model. Okay, so after you know about the capability of the cloud, I think you have a lot of questions how we can monitor about our consumption on the Microsoft Azure, how I can manage our billing, how I can secure the owner account on the cloud, right? Because if someone can steal your owner account, they can create anything on the cloud. They can create the VM with a very high performance on the cloud in order to do the crypto mining. And you can see this is the report from Google about the attack on the cloud environment. And as you can see, the highest percentage with 86%, the hacker, they steal the owner account and do the crypto mining. And as the result, our consumption is very high, and we need to pay for very high bill on the Microsoft Azure, right? Okay. And based on that challenges, we are the CSP indirect provider. So we work with our partner SRKK in order to deliver this solution for you as a partner. And the keyword click to run. So the click to run solution is a preview solution. So it can have ability to automate the security deployment in order to protect our Azure subscription. Okay, you can think about if you don't protect the Azure subscription, it look like you have a house, but you don't have a lock, you don't have a dog and any camera in order to protect your house. So anyone can go inside your house and steal anything they want, right? Okay, so we need to deploy the security, the control, and the other solution, the policy, the budget control, anything in order to protect our house, right? Protect our Azure subscription. And This is more detail about our solution. The first one, we have ability to automation to deploy the identity solution, like the security default, conditional access. And if you already know about the conditional access, this is the feature of the Azure AD Premium in the Microsoft 365. And if you already using Microsoft 365, you already have the Azure AD platform, identity management, okay? And if you have the license, Azure AD Premium Plan 1, or the new name, that's the Microsoft Entra ID Plan 1, you can deploy the conditional access by our tool very fast, okay? And the next is the Azure cost management. So we can help you to create the budget. So you will get the notification when your resources or your consumption is cross the threshold on the Microsoft Azure consumption. Okay, security default, conditional access, and the other multi-factor authentication method we can deploy by our tool. Okay, the budget control and also the policy we can enable the policy like the geo restriction. So if your IT admin or your team accident to create the resources in the other region, for example, the nearest region of Microsoft Azure is Southeast Asia, okay? And if someone accidentally creates the VM in Europe, okay, so we need to prevent that, right? So we can set up the policy to restrict the geo location. And the second one is we can limit the VM SKU that our team can create on the cloud environment. For example, we just need to create a very small VM like 2 vCPU and 4 GB of RAM. Okay, so we we can limit the very high configuration of the VM, right? Okay, and also we can set up the notification on the REST hole. Okay, I will go to the real demonstration for you to see about how the click-to-run fraud defense solution work. And this is the dashboard of the Stream One Iron. As you can see, the Stream One Iron is the management platform of the TechD. It can have the partner as the SRKK to manage the customer, manage the consumption, and also deploy the solution, like the click-to-run solution for today. Okay, and let me start with. So on the Stream One Iron, you can see we have a lot of click-to-run solution here, and we have the SMB fraud defense. And go next, we add to the cart and buy this solution. Okay, and just one thing, this solution is free for our partner and our customer, so you don't need to pay anything for this tool, but you need the license. For example, you want to deploy the conditional access, right? You need the Azure AD Premium Plan 1 license, okay? And this one is completely free for our partner to deploy to manage the Azure subscription, okay? And after we buy the click-to-run Pro Defense, we go to this one. Yes, this is we just buy this one, and next we go to manage. Click on manage. Okay. Okay, and after that, it will launch it will check the connection of the Stream One Iron and the customer answer portal in order to check the API connection. In the technical perspective, the Stream One Iron will connect to the Azure subscription of the customer via the API in order to check about the information and deploy the solution. As you can see, the first information is the Stream One Iron can get the status of the security default. Okay, so we know that you are using the security default in order to turn on the multi-factor authentication for all of the user, or you are disabled that. Okay, and the second one is the cost management. Okay, you are turn on the cost management or not. You have the Azure AD Premium Plan 1 or Plan 2 license or not. Yes, we can check the status first, because if you don't have the license, Azure AD Premium, you cannot deploy the conditional access based on our tool, okay? Okay, and I'll check the status of the license, the security default, and the cost management. We go ahead to deploy our script in order to deploy our policy, our solution in the customer Azure subscription. Okay, and yeah, the first thing we need to create the resource group. As you can see from this dashboard, from this tool, you can very fast to turn on the security feature, like the view restriction from the conditional access, like the multi-factor authentication required for all of the user, the admin, and the Azure management user. Yeah, all of the feature of the conditional access here. Okay. And the next is the I would like to show you in the budget. As you can see, we can set up the budget notification here. Yeah, very easy to turn on, enable, give the budget name and the budget amount. For example, you are estimate you will use around 1,000 US dollar per month on the Microsoft Azure, right? You can set up 1,000 US dollar, and this is the first threshold, 50%. Second threshold, that's it, 90%. So type the email address of the IT admin to receive the notification when your consumption cross the budget. Okay. And the next is our policy. You can deploy the restrict the SKU. And you can see we can restrict all of the high performance SKU, only allowed to create very low performance of the VM is our requirement, right? Okay. And that's either restrict SKU of the VM. And as you can see, we can restrict the high performance GPU and restrict the optimize of the storage. Yeah. Okay. As you can see, if you turn on this policy, the IT admin, they cannot create the VM of this instance, like the NC, ND, and NV. And this VM instance is very high performance with the GPU support, and it can generate a loss of consumption, a lot of cost for our cloud view. Okay, so we can limit that, we can restrict that, we can limit the region. For example, in Malaysia, we can restrict so the user can only create the resources in Southeast Asia only. They cannot create in the Japan or in the India. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, restrict for the region. Okay, and the next I would like to introduce to you is the some security feature based on the security, based on the identity solution. For example, the password expiration, smart logout, you can turn on here. Okay, so after you fill all of the information, right? You fill all of the information and you click for deploy. Click the deploy button here, and the stream one ion will, based on the information you input, it will connect to the Azure portal via the API in order to deploy the solution, automation to deploy. Okay, so as you can see, the benefit of our tool is to save time to deploy the security solution. Yeah, and if you deploy by manually, it can take for 2 days or 3 days. But with this tool, our partner SRKK can help you to deploy the security solution in just 10 minutes. Okay, and after finish the deployment, you go to the Azure portal. You will see all of the policy already turned on. like the budget notification, like the Azure policy, like security default or the conditional access, everything already turned on for you. Okay. So that's it based on the best practice about security and the monitoring. Yeah, you can see the Azure policy already turn on the rule, the policy to deny the high performance CPU, deny the high performance VM that support the GPU instead. Okay. And this is the retreat about the region. Yeah, already deployed. Okay, and it's very fast, right? And this is the policy to limit the VM SKU that we can create. Okay, we just select, just allow the VM that we would like to deploy. Okay, so that's it. Finished my demonstration about the click to run solution, and I hope that my session for today can have you a partner to feel more safety in the cloud environment. And we, TechD and SRKK, can support you to accelerate your cloud journey with more secure. Okay, yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Brian. I think it's very impressive that it's very easy. It's how easy is it to set up a secure Azure environment and in a very, very fast manner. I know you need to move on very quickly. Next is our Q&A session. Perhaps I can invite the audience to share the questions on Slido using the link shared in the chat window or the earlier QR code. But perhaps for the first question, maybe this question is for Justin. There's a question asking about the SLA of 99.99%. How do we ensure that this SLA is configured correctly?
So basically, SLA stands for service level agreement. So basically, it checks on the uptime, the ability of that services. So it could be range from 99, of course, not 100%. That's definitely not for that. So, but it describes the Microsoft commitment for the uptime and the connectivity. Of course, Microsoft do have their document on the SLA. So if let's say Microsoft actually fails for the SLA, they will actually refund. So of course, it's not refund automatically. You have to request it, yeah. But definitely, we need some kind of justification, and then to show that it really happens on the Microsoft end side. Then they will Microsoft billing team will do all the calculation, and then they will do all the refund, basically. But to explain further on the SLA, it's subject to how many services you're going to deploy. But if you're talking about just a single services, you could have just like 99.99%. If you have multiple services included configure, all right, it will even guarantee even higher SLA for you. So in case something happens, you don't have to worry. You know that your ability, and then you know that your critical path as well for the ability. So this is important to know what kind of services you're going to deploy. For example, let's say I'm going to deploy a virtual machine, a single virtual machine. Okay, if let's say something goes wrong on the virtual machine, then yeah, of course the SLA won't be so high. But if you include another services, for example, I include Azure load balancer, all right, to load balance the virtual machines, then even you can have even higher SLA as well. So if let's say your virtual machine is down, you still have another virtual machine to take over as well. So this is how you can actually ensure the higher percentage for the SLA.
So basically, we need to properly architect the solution in order to have the maximum SLA of 99.99. Okay,
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Justin. Maybe on to the next question. Maybe it's to Thomas. Thomas, there's a question about, customers' management is not convinced on investing on the cloud solution. What do you think that we can suggest to propose or convince the management on the need?
Thanks for the question. I think, as I shared, it's one of those things that we can't wait until the future arrives and then jump on board the cloud. It's something that it's a gradual process. It's going to take time in order for us to move our workloads there. And we shouldn't be trying to push people into shifting everything you currently operate on-prem into the cloud in one step. That doesn't seem feasible. We need to take the adoption slowly, take it small with non-critical workloads, develop our skills as we go, and be able to prepare for the emerging workforce capabilities, things like new technologies coming out that will be focused on cloud-ready organizations. In order to make maybe management see value in this, we need to look at what industry you're in, look at what your competitors are using. Maybe there's no one industry that benefit from cloud adoption. Our portfolio spreads across a range of service types and industries. All kinds of companies have adopted the cloud and seem to grow from there. It's just one of those things that you invest in it and you get your ROI over a number of years. It's not something that we can push the boss to just change the whole company operation overnight. We have to have this conversation that it's gradual, that you will see benefits, and that it's definitely worth investing in now before you see something that you want and you wish that you'd made this decision earlier.
Thank you. I think that's good advice. Maybe one last question before, I know we're running out of time. One last question from the audience. There's a question about the 30-minute RTO. Justin, is this something that you can elaborate more?
Okay, so RTO stands for recovery time objective. So basically, it is the time amount it takes to complete a recovery or restore. So of course, for Azure services, they do have two solutions for disaster recovery or even backup solution, which is Azure Backup or and Azure Site Recovery. Okay, so basically this 30 minutes, it is the amount that we actually Azure services will actually complete to recover. Okay, the maximum only. Yeah. So of course, the 30 minutes is also subject to what kind of services you're going to deploy. So how many servers are there to actually perform the site recovery? So 30 minutes is just the indication numbers. Okay. So if you, let's say, for example, if you just have one or two servers on premise and then to run Azure site recovery, so of course it shouldn't have more than 30 minutes of RTO. So it could be less than that, right? Because you only have two servers. So like I say, 30 minutes is the indication numbers for the RTO. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's subject to the numbers of servers that you're going to actually fail over. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for your answer. For your answer. Okay, we'll move